Hello and welcome everyone. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the HoboJoe show. Currently we're broadcasting on all secure networks, AM, FM, broadband, 4G LTE, and we are on an undisclosed secret Atlantic oil rig platform, broadcasting to you live. I'm your host, HoboJoe. Our guest host tonight is mr.nstr. And he's also our sponsor as well for tonight. Let's go ahead and look at his page. Here's his page. His link is in the description. You can check out all his great stuff, great hoodies, great hats, great clothing. We're glad to have him as a sponsor. Link in the description, as well as his YouTube account. Nothing significant to report. Go ahead and subscribe to him if you have a minute. He would definitely appreciate it. How are you doing tonight, Mr. NSTR?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. Just glad to be here. Glad to be on the show. All right. Let's go ahead and move to our outdoor scene here. Now, tonight's topic is conspiracies. Right? All the crazy, kooky, wild Illuminati, golf links. We got the iceberg, right? So we're going to go into all these different topics that we have to present to you for the night. We also have one more announcement we want to make. So with the holidays coming up and with Fish Tank Season 2 coming up, next Sunday will be the last podcast for, we're going to call Season 1 until after the holidays, and if we can fit any in after with Fish Tank Season 2 going on. So we got one more to go, and that topic for next week is going to be we're going to look at the conspiracy iceberg and cover like the last 3 tiers, like the craziest stuff we could find. We'll just kind of close out the season with that. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Dig right on in, right? So let's move into the cabin, get cozy on our oil rig. The cabin was moved to the oil rig by unmarked black Apache helicopters, right? So make sure we get all our overlays up, all of our text and everything. Where did it go? Mr. NSTR's hashtag here if you want to follow him on Instagram. Right. We also have 99 cent TTS if you want to just set a chat. I'll do my best to read the chats. We'll do our best. But if you want to have a Indian bot read your message, a female Indian bot read your message on chat, you can send in a super chat or whatever if you want. Don't feel obligated to, obviously. And here's our window to check out all the crazy wild stuff for tonight, right? So we're just going to go dive right in on it, right? Jonathan Odie. Have you ever heard of Jonathan Odie, Mr. NSTR?
No, I have not.
So I saw this on TV recently, and I didn't hear anything about this before. But this dude, he's from South Africa or something like that. He came to America, and he did a shootout with police in a Trump resort in 2018, and he was screaming all kinds of. When he was interrogated, he was saying all kinds of crazy, wild things, like he's some Illuminati with P. Diddy and stuff like that. And this was in 2018, right? And it was right. I don't remember. You think that this would be on TV? You think that you would have heard this on the news, something, right? Not a lick, nothing. I think that was wild. Yeah, until recently, did I hear about that. So he goes to this place, right? It's called Trump National Doral Resort, Miami. Obviously, a lot of his resorts are golf resorts. But this dude shows up here. I think it's at nighttime. He shows up, and we'll pull up the video too. Here's where it is. It's in Miami, Florida.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Right. But he pulls up to this place, and I'll just go ahead and let the video play in the background while I'm talking. but he's armed. He's got a gun. He takes the flag down from it outside and he drapes it across the counter here. You can see him walking in with the flag. And he says later in the interrogation that he's doing this as a statement to the American people, basically. He's upset with the president, Trump. He's changing his socks. He's upset with the president that I don't even know why he's putting. I don't know what's going on there, but and he basically saying that Trump didn't get the corruption out, and he wants to do this message to the American people. But the other thing that he said was that there is, and let me pull up my notes here, right? There is a secret Illuminati sect called the Bullet. It's a society called the Bullet. Have you ever heard of the Bullet?
No.
I have never heard of this either, right? But apparently, P. Diddy is in it, and he's in like a secret society with P. Diddy, and he says he doesn't like Obama or Hillary, and he likes Trump, even though he came here to do this, and he wanted to make sure the police let Trump know that he likes him as a president, but he did this because he wanted to let the American people know what was going on, I guess. This is the way he did it. So, but it's nuts, right? He said that in this secret society called the Bullet, that they were planning on assassinating Trump because of 9/11. He was going to leak 9/11, the truths behind it, and all the steel beams and all that, right? But he doesn't like Hillary or Obama. So it's just wild. I'd never heard of the Bullet. Obviously, there's a lot of conspiracies out there with the hip hop community and things like what is his name? The dude who's Tupac. Yeah, you're right. So they say he's still alive and all this stuff, you know, and there's like talk that there's like a homosexual cult stuff in the rap community, Illuminati, crazy, all this kind of crazy hip hop stuff going on with their own like secret underworld. And now we're getting pizza ads. That's great. But this just stuck out to me. And it was pretty interesting, right? And thank you everybody who's watching right now. The 15 viewers we're having right now. Welcome. You know, you guys are just showing up. Welcome. But his name is, we'll go back here, Jonathan Odie, right? And I guess the police ended up did in this video. I'll skip to the part so he's shooting at them at the front, and then he takes off later into the building, goes upstairs, tries to barricade with some of these tables and chairs, and then eventually, just before this right here, he gets shot in the leg. I thought he slipped because he's putting the his slippy slide socks on, so I thought he slipped, but I guess later at the end, when they arrest him, they don't show it, but
Probably a bunch of blood.
Yeah. Later on, they show I get not in this video, but they're like bandaging him and stuff. They had like paramedics and stuff. Well, that's just nuts.
It's definitely weird. I don't know how I didn't see that on the news. Like I feel like that would have been pretty,
right. You think with him being president at the time, that would have been, somebody would have talked about that. So the next topic that I have for you is called the dead internet theory. Have you heard of the dead internet theory?
Nope.
Right. So essentially what this is that there is nothing right now. Currently, the internet is not what it used to be. You go to Google things that you used to be able to Google before in the past, and you can't find a lot of things anymore nowadays. And there's this video here. I'll let it play in the background with subtitles on, but I'll talk about it a lot. This channel here, I guess it's called Chill Fuel. But essentially, there's all these AI algorithms out there, and they're creating these bots to cause influence of opinion. People can either purchase these bots to get more views on their videos and things like that, or they can use it to sell or market products or sway opinions and things like that. And I guess apparently there was the gist of it is there's few real people out there we're talking to on the internet today. And there was a study that went out by these people here called Ghost Data, and they said that 8% of Instagram users are bots, and TikTok is 1.9%. And when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he was also saying that he was one thing he was gonna do was get rid of the bots. So that's like a big thing out there. And YouTube was even concerned about bots, I guess, recently. There was another thing talking about how the engineers at YouTube were concerned with the algorithm being able to throw out fake bot views, and that there were so many bot accounts on YouTube throwing off the views that the algorithm was actually going to mistakenly think that the fake bot views were real, and they were going to start throwing out, the concern was they're going to throw out the real views. So that concern there was like, because of all this, the dead internet theory. And then you have
it makes a lot of sense,
right? Especially like China and stuff like that. And then you have like 2016 when they said that the Russian bots were influencing the elections. So there's just this massive, almost uncontrolled AI bots that are flooding the internet, and the internet, everything out there, all the content and everything is just AI influenced in a way to where there's nothing original anymore. All of it is just to influence you in some kind of way to spend your money or sway your opinion.
Yeah.
That's the.
If you go to, I've seen that on Fiverr. I don't know if you ever heard of Fiverr.com.
Yeah, I've heard of Fiverr.
So they have like services on there where you can hire somebody to run your social media accounts, and they can. I think the term is like they can boost it organically, or some. They use a certain term where they say they can like get you more followers and more people to go to your content. But they call it organically, and then some of them say like other things, but they say like no bots used or something like that.
On where? On Fiverr?
On Fiverr.
Yeah. So they're gonna like boost your views basically, and they're saying it's not bots, but it's actually bots.
That's what I'm thinking. I didn't go that deep into it, but they use the term organic, which to me sounds like they're trying to hide the fact that they're using bots.
Right. And that's pretty nuts. Who is Birdman rapping them boys? That is wild. Hi Ecuador.
I think he's referring to the rapper.
The rapper Birdman. I've never even heard of the rapper Birdman. That's nuts. Welcome, Quantum Fluctuation,
you know
Monkfish,
Lil Wayne is, right?
Lil Wayne, yeah.
So Lil Wayne, I think Birdman is like Lil Wayne's boss or something, or like he signed Lil Wayne, something like that.
Yeah.
And they had their whole record label or whatever it was Cash Money or Young Money, whatever their name was. But the Birdman apparently was like doing all sorts of weird shit and weird stuff. And
you can say shit. We're past 10 seconds or whatever it's called.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And he's I think it involved Lil Wayne, Drake, and a couple other rappers that worked for the label, where he was doing exactly what Hyde Ecuador said.
Yeah, that's nuts. I've never even heard of that. That's wild. So that's a dead internet theory, right? So the next one I want to talk about, let me just scroll to the top here. I was excited to talk about this tonight. Let me go ahead and
oh, I can't wait.
Pull this up. So I'll let this play in the background, and I'll just kind of talk about it with closed captionings on. This dude, so in 2021, there was this thread on 4chan X, the paranormal board, and this guy was talking about Antarctica, and somebody commented and said basically that their father was a doctor at McMurdo in Antarctica, and sometime in the past, a long time ago, right? And he was saying that people would talk about, they would see these, and you could see a picture of it there, these like strider, spider-looking creatures skittering around in Antarctica, and that there were different kinds of species of them. Some were like 8 feet tall, 10 feet tall, huge things out
What?
there that could like attack and kill people in Antarctica, right? Today we know Antarctica is like this big ice place, snow. There's nothing there.
Yeah,
There's no living
nothing there.
creatures.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a wild story, and he posted I think multiple days he talked about this. He went on about, and he was saying that his there was like some special forces Green Beret guys that were there in Antarctica, and there was a guy that he was kind of messed up about some of the things he's done in his career, and so he would pretend to be hurt to go to the doc, and then the doc had like, I guess he was a civilian doctor or something like that, at McMurdo, and he would give him free therapy in exchange for not actually being there for behavioral health kind of thing, so the guy could still keep his job, do his thing, but get stuff off his
Yeah.
chest essentially. And so he's saying that there are these things out there, all this crazy stuff, right? But I guess the big thing was that he came and woke the doctor up one night, and the doctor's like, "Get out of here! Like, come back in the morning! Like, I'm sleeping. What are you doing?" And that guy threw a leg of the spider thing on him, and he was like, "What the heck? You know, like, what the hell is this?" And so he told him that there was like this underground facility. Let me get some pictures flowing too. I got a whole images that were in this thread here we can pull up. So here's the spider is the first image, right? Yeah, and that there was this whole underground facility that they went and raided out in Antarctica, and it has all these inner tunnel systems, different train networks that could travel from different cities like Tokyo and all this stuff. Here in this picture, you see that it's circled. That's where his dad was in McMurdo, and that labels all the different bases they have out there. Might be going a little bit too fast, but so this is obviously all a story on 4chan, so who knows, right? But I guess this guy, his dad had a Macintosh, an old Macintosh computer, and he decided to go around the camp getting stories from different people. And here's some other like plaques and stuff to prove his dad was there. But he used this computer, and he would gather all these stories onto this old Macintosh computer, I guess is what he told him. And then I guess the Macintosh hard drives they don't last long, or they had problems or issues. So they were damaged, and he found the Mac computer, but he couldn't get the hard drives to work. So he came back like a couple days later, and he tried, but he couldn't get it to work, and it kind of just went silent since 2021. Nobody's heard from him since. But they're saying that like all China, all the human trafficking that's gone on in the world because of these interconnected underground bullet train bases in Antarctica are essentially part of it. All this human trafficking stories that we hear, and they just happen to have like also doing experiments on these crab creatures, these spider creatures, and they had like cages of these things, like living creatures in it, and they broke out and they like had ate people, killed people during this like raid that they did in this underground facility. This is all it's on 4chan, this whole story, and I have the thread pulled up to the archive thread here that goes into detail. Some people are trying to speculate what they look like. So there's another image of that, and I'll go ahead and minimize the slideshow. But it's just it's on 4chan. I want to reiterate they take that with a grain of salt. So who knows, who's out there saying what, but it's just very interesting. That all this stuff was said, and that he at least, what we do know is that somebody, or maybe he got it from a flea market, somebody had those plaques from Antarctica. Somebody had those McMurdo little patches and badges and stuff. So but have you heard anything from Antarctica?
I've heard some stuff. There's I think a Sean Ryan episode
Who-
that they talked about.
Who's Sean Ryan?
So he's a Navy SEAL guy that does he has the Sean Ryan show.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I think it's on Spotify too. Or everywhere you get podcasts. But he interviews a lot of people, and one of the dudes he interviewed, I think, claimed that he worked at one of the bases out there, and they were developing like some sort of like laser munition or laser weapon, something like that.
What the heck?
Yeah. and that we can control earthquakes, or that it was like I think it caused whatever weapon it was. They tested it and it messed up or something.
And it was
And
causing earthquakes.
it caused an earthquake in like Australia or something.
Damn. That is nuts. I've never. I've heard of some other stories from Antarctica about how there's the ice wall and all that stuff, and there were people that were, they would drill into it and they would collect this special blue ice. It was like part of the firmament, and it was like evidence of the firmament or something.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and copy this link here. Edit invite. All right. Let me email this out real quick so that we can get this link going.
All right.
Link. Stand by. Send. Sent outbox. All right, and then we'll get somebody to share this link here. Somebody said earlier, oh, what is that? What is this? Welcome. Welcome, Lickamy. Welcome, Lackamy. Somebody said earlier they thought I was in jail. I don't know where they got that from. That's wild. It's wild to think.
I think they might have been talking about High Ecuador.
Oh, maybe? Yeah. Maybe. There's a link in the chat right now from one of our moderators. And you can go ahead and join the Discord if you want to call in. We'll go ahead and start the call-in segment if anybody's interested in that. And don't feel obligated to if you're that doesn't interest you. Somebody's going in?
Yep.
Where are they at?
He joined.
Go on one of the voice channels if you're hopping in to talk. And we'll just slide over there for you.
He might have just joined started following it. I don't know, I got a notification.
Oh man. But McMurdo, right? That's some wild stuff. Have you heard about the secret underground German sub base? There's like a map that they found where like the subs would go underneath the ice in Antarctica to an underground like base that goes to Hollow Earth in Antarctica.
So I've heard a little bit about it. I'm not too familiar with it.
I guess Antarctica's got like a lot of wild stuff going on. Like who's that guy that went to the moon? Buzz Aldrin, or allegedly went to the moon? Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin.
And I think he went to Antarctica. He posted on like Twitter or something, and he posted the picture of these mountains that a lot of people reference as pyramids that are ancient pyramids that are in Antarctica. And he all he did was he posted the picture of it, and then he said pure evil, and that was it. And I guess he had like some kind of medical issue or like a health problem, and had to get like, I don't know, evacuated out of Antarctica.
Oh really?
Yeah. And there's also I guess like a lot of celebrities and stuff go out there too. You're like not allowed to go on your own out there, but only like
Yeah, I think they do it for the
celebrities,
like,
the Pope, all that stuff.
Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah.
You're talking about like going out there for like charity and stuff.
Oh, and cruises.
What they do.
Cruises will go out there, but like that's all guided and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to some of your topics here. Which link? You want to start with the first link you have in the chat?
Yeah. Let me make sure.
CISA.gov.
Yeah, CISA.gov.
All right.
Alright, let me get situated over here. Alright, so this just came out. Or I saw it today. I think it just came out a couple of days ago. But basically this is from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency.gov. Released on November 28th, 2023. So they've been responding to, there's an exploitation that's being done on computers, a certain aspect of the computer. I don't understand any of this, so I'm not even going to try to translate any of the lingo in here, but basically they hacked into computers at water treatment facilities.
In America?
In America, and it was the IRGC, which is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
Damn, that's pretty revolutionary.
That just happened today, and I kind of go through. I don't know what's best. I'm trying to debate what I should do, but I wanted to kind of just go through this, each one, because the conspiracy theory that I picked was World War III. So my conspiracy theory is basically we are either in World War III or we are in the precursor to World War III. So the topics I sent you are just a list, basically, of all the recent events that have occurred in like the last 6 months to a year, 2 years, that I think are just weird. They all kind of not connect, but it's kind of weird that they have been happening. And there's more instances that have happened. I just didn't want to post like 30 on Discord, but
right.
So if you want to go to this next one, so this just happened today. And as we know, with Israel and Israel and Hamas, duking it out. Iran is backing Hamas, and Hamas is one of their proxies. So Hamas has proxies all over the place, and Hamas is allies with Russia and China, and they're part of the whole. What is it? I think it's called BRICS.
Yeah, the BRICS, the monetary deal. It's like to replace the dollar, petrodollar, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also have Ukraine going on as well. So we have two major conflicts going on. There's a lot of tension in the world. This just happened. Along with this, if you scroll all the way down, I just posted it.
In the chat, or on this page.
So the one with the ship, in the chat.
All right.
So this one.
Okay.
This also just happened. This is the
sweet hat ads. Do you see these hats? Are you there?
I got printing machines.
Oh, okay. All right.
Weird. So I think this was today, Sunday, December 3rd. The USS Carney shoots down drones, responds to ballistic missile attack on commercial vessels. So another attack from a proxy of Iran. Basically, they attacked 3 commercial ships that were flagged for the Bahamas, which are UK owned and operated. And then there was, I think it was a drone attack against the, where is it?
He shut down another UAV.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
They shot down another UAV that was trying to attack one of our ships. So that happened. The cyber attack happened.
It says struck by a missile from Houthi.
Yeah, which is
in Yemen. The Houthi
Iranian-backed proxies.
Right, the group of people out there.
Yeah,
that's wild.
So that happened, and then
today.
And then there's another link right above that. Just another link.
Is it CNN?
The MSN.
Oh, okay.
It's just a video of the attack on the commercial ships.
Oh, there's a video too.
So the video that's gonna play is a video of the Iranian guys hijacking the ship.
Is this the one where they landed on the ship?
Yeah. So they've done it before. I just thought it was kind of weird that, this happened. Yeah, cyber attack happened.
All these different things are happening all in recent time.
All these different things are happening in this specific area, but then if you go to South America at the same time, if you go to, there's a guy carrying a flag in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Venezuelan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Click on that. So the same time this is happening, Venezuela, who, if I'm not mistaken, is also allies with Russia. They received aid from Russia a couple years ago. When I think it's Maduro. I might have messed up and mixed some stuff up here.
What a happy guy.
But essentially, so Venezuela is, there's dispute over, I think it's Guyana.
Guyana.
Yeah, Guyana.
It's like bordered
They-
region.
Yeah, they consider, it's kind of like the the Taiwan China situation. They
Right.
they consider it theirs, and they consider themselves not a part of Venezuela. And so this just happened where I think this is the right article. They started moving people around. I couldn't find the actual article where I saw that, but they started moving people around along the border, and then Brazil, who I think is allies with Guyana, or they have like an agreement, basically, that they'll support Guyana if anything ever happens. So Brazil moved their forces to the border of Venezuela in preparation because they believe there's going to be an invasion. So now we have Ukraine. We have Ukraine, Russia, and Ukraine. We have China and Taiwan. We have Iran with Hamas and the Houthis, and now you have Venezuela with who are all also a part of the BRICS deal, whatever it's called.
Right.
So all of them are all.
So there's a lot of spicy climate going on in the world today.
Yeah,
and
very
then
tense
what
things going on.
today you're showing in this article here, we also get hit with a cyber attack for our water wastewater systems, water and wastewater systems.
Yeah. So with the wastewater system, you can go down a rabbit hole. So I've made a couple weird connections. So if you ever watched the movie White Noise on Netflix,
Yeah.
I put the link in there.
Yeah.
For the trailer, if you want to play that.
Pop it up.
So the movie The White Noise is
Got Adam Driver in it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's basically Adam Driver is the dad, and they live in a small town in Ohio, and all of a sudden this train derailment happens. This train has all these chemicals on it, and everybody has to evacuate. So this came out, then I don't know when this came out. I meant to look that up. So this came out before the actual Ohio train derailment, which I posted right underneath that. Which I thought was weird. It was like way too close. Like way too similar to the actual events that happened.
Right.
And then so if you go to just underneath the trailer and you click on the NBC News one.
Oh, in the chat, yeah. I remember like the first half of that movie was okay, we're into the world, all this crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden it starts going into like they had like marital issues and they're cheating and all this. I was like, where is this going? Like, what just happened? This movie's just derailed itself, became its own train derailment.
Yeah, it was a pretty weird movie. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So that movie came out in December 30th, 2022.
Just before that East Palestine, Ohio thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty weird, right?
The East Palestine train derailment happened on February 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of weird. I just found a random connection, and I just thought it was kind of weird. But the rest of them, so there's a train derailment, or it kind of ties into the rest. So I believe, with the cyber attack, Iran's trying to, disrupt or destroy or whatever, infrastructure. Because if you take infrastructure down, the nation starts to crumble. If we can't get clean water, it's not gonna be very fun. And then so you have the train derailment, and then you have if you go underneath the train derailment article to the officials estimate 100,000 chickens died in a fire.
Oh, we're going to the what is it, like Bill Gates food thing?
So I didn't look that far into it, which I probably should have. I think that would have been pretty interesting to tie that to it. I have heard of it. Like that.
100,000 chickens died.
Yeah,
Wow.
in a Connecticut farm. So that's not the only one that's happened. So I also found another one. 18,000 cows killed in an explosion fire at a Texas dairy farm. I think that one was actually pretty recent. And then so that one will be the 18,000 cows is right underneath the chickens.
Oh, the China. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
What do they want me to do? Sign up? No.
So, another instance of
18,000 heads of cattle perish.
that's a lot of food. A lot. And there's
20%
more,
of the cattle slaughtered in America on any given day died in a fire.
So this is happening all over the place. There's explosions, fires, just all over the country.
Fear.
I'm not trying to scare anybody.
No. That's just
also,
it's just like a.
Are you just making fun?
Yeah, just making a joke. It's just a lot of fear out there.
It is kind of scary and concerning. Part of it also, though, is I think that, we have social media and everything, so it is easy to tie all this stuff together, with your imagination. When in reality, this stuff has probably been happening. This isn't new stuff. Like, it's been happening since we've had trains, since we've had farms, since we've had animals, like in this country. So it's, with social media and everybody being able to just plug in and find stuff and find articles and see stuff, I think it's, it could also be that. But being said, if you go underneath that,
China?
you already did. All right, cool. Yeah, China, owns 380,000 acres of land in the U.S. And that is not a random website. That is the KPBS. I don't know what that is.
KPBS?
Oh, that's not the right article.
No?
No, it's not. I had a government.
Shoot.
Government. But I mean, this is a .org, so that's fine, I guess. It's still more legit, in my opinion, because it's a .org.
What do they say?
Basically, China owns 380,000 acres of land in the U.S.
Smithfield Foods, damn.
Pretty substantial amount of land. On a lot of these, in the article, it talks about, like, in 2021, a Chinese company bought land near an Air Force base in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. That's not the only place. It's happened all over the country where they're buying land around the military bases. And, if you know anything about China, they like to play the long game. And one of their tactics they do is they send people over to other countries and they, start a family over there, or they bring their whole family there and they start living there and building a community, and they play the long game. And then they pull, information from the, when they call back home to China, or
here's a map.
Give them money, that kind of stuff.
That is nuts. Look at this map here. It's Canadian, dude. What's going on with Canada? Why do they own so much land? Look at this. Whoa, this should be the bigger threat. That's in our own backyard. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, we gotta.
You want to know something scary? I'll see if I can find the link. I'll send you something.
That's wild. The fallout. We gotta annex Canada. Maybe we should start looking into that. Did you know that there was declassified documents for the Freedom of Information Act, right? So there's like the CIA archive. You can look up all these Freedom of Information Act declassified documents. And I think I don't know if it was on the CIA. All the other government organizations, I think, have a reading room as well. But it talked about a declassified document showing like plans of invasion if we needed to invade Canada. That's just pretty wild.
That is kind of weird. I mean, that makes sense to have a plan for that. They're on the border. It just makes sense, if China was like...
Yeah, but we don't use those plans, and then look what happens. They buy up all our land. What the heck?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's pretty scary. I'm sorry I'm taking so long.
No, you're good, man.
And I don't know how true this is. So I found one article, but it doesn't really talk about much.
Utah, man.
what I shared with you was I just thought it was funny because you brought up Canadian-owned land.
Uh-huh.
So if the article I sent you is a article about Chinese soldiers training in Canada.
Oh, that was recently, right? Well, like with the last year or two.
Yeah.
Did that actually happen?
So it says on here that it
Fata.
China's troops, China's troops trained in Canada against which country? Here I read it. Yeah. Oh, canceled the training following China's kidnapping of Canadian citizen Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig.
That is nuts.
Yeah, and then we also have the recent meeting between Governor Newsom, the president, and the Chinese president. What's his name? Xi Jinping? I can't say that.
Yeah, President Z or whatever. G. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh. People call him.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of weird stuff going on.
I want to go back to this map though. That's nuts.
But that's my theory. There's way more to it, and I would love.
So essentially, you're saying that we are already in the midst of World War III, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is either the precursor or the beginning.
I think we could also
Because
say that we're in the midst of an information war right now, right?
and that
Wouldn't
that
you
is the
agree?
other aspect of it. Is it actually World War III, or nations just combating each other virtually?
Right.
Because that's essentially what it is. Is right now I think it's just at like a virtual level where it's just cyber, or it's not just cyber, but a lot of it is cyber.
Have you heard of the conspiracy about how like we are, just like you're saying, we are in World War III, but there's all these underground tunnel systems that are where like soldiers are actually engaging in World War III, but underground in these networks of tunnels.
I have an article for you just for that.
What? No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Let's get that.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh man, what are the odds? That kind of ties into the whole Antarctica thing with that guy posting.
Purpose themselves.
That guy posting in Antarctica about his dad and saying that there's those underground facilities as well. It kind of ties that in.
That is kind of weird, but this article that I just sent you is from Task and Purpose. The Army is spending $500 million to train soldiers to wage war underground.
And this was in 2018. This is the same.
Yeah.
2 years before. Where did I see 2018? Oh no, that was that guy who shot up the thing. Yeah, 2018. So that's like 2 years, 3 years before that Antarctic thing. That's wild.
Yeah. So I never really looked into this, but I do remember hearing about it.
$500 million.
I didn't, but I do remember hearing them talk us training in underground, and the purpose was, from what I understood, was to train for like the your bigger cities like New York City, places that got
Big networks of subways and like sewer systems and stuff like that.
Network of subways and sewage and everything else.
There's a whole
like if something were to happen, that would be possible. We would have to clear that stuff out.
Look at this here. There's a whole training circular, and for those of you folks who don't understand what training circular is, it's basically a manual put out by the military, by the Army, and that's the number where you can look up the document for it. This manual is titled "Small Unit Training in Subterranean Environments," so they already have this like planned out for a purpose if it was needed.
Yep.
Published in 2017.
Now I don't know any.
That's a recent one.
And I've never heard anybody actually talk about it, other than when it came out.
Right. Man, here's some pictures. Look at that. It's probably from the manual. Here.
Well.
Look, they got a little bot.
Oxygen. Today I played a game of airsoft. And it involved a tunnel, and it was not fun.
No, really? Did you get messed up?
No, it was just really long, and the tunnel was like super tiny.
Oh.
You had a duck walk like the whole way. My knees like, on fire.
Wild. Now, have you heard of since we're talking about tunnels, right, underneath like in New York and Antarctica and all that? Have you heard of today's topic is conspiracies. Tartaria.
Arteria. That sounds really familiar. Isn't
So,
that like another like world or something? It's
have
like
you
a side of. Is
ha-
it like the Hollow Earth thing?
kind of? So, have you heard of the mud flood?
No, I've never heard of that.
So essentially, there's this theory. Oh, we got somebody sent in $5. Awesome. Yeah, and then you hear the Indian lady?
Australia.
The Indian lady narrates it for us just so clearly in plain English. Thank you for the donation. What with the question mark, I believe is his username, which is confusing, but thank you and welcome to the chat and to the show. So we're talking about like Tataria, right? So there's this whole conspiracy called the Mud Flood, and essentially, there was a cataclysmic event that happened, and the mud, there was a flooding and a global flooding, and so there's all this sediment and stuff that washed over the original civilization of Earth, the people on the Earth. And we then built our cities on top of these cities. So there's like Washington D.C. and underneath Washington D.C. is old Washington D.C. and all this stuff, and all these buildings, these monuments and stuff aren't our original monuments. They were built by the people before us that settled in these lands. Washington Monument and all this crazy stuff. Um, and so
Oh, that's
it's so then you talk about like these ancient tunnel systems that could have been existed if New York is built on top of a New York, and then we're having waging these wars with these subterranean people or whoever, so it kind of
Have you
just
heard of this? Have you heard of the underground mole people? I think it's in Las Vegas.
No, it's in California. There was actually a president. One of our presidents, he was up for re-election, and one of his campaign things, that I think he was running on, or just before he ran, he was talking about how he wanted to divert or use some funds to have an expedition to inner Earth through the tunnels in California, to meet the mole people. He told the American people he
What?
wanted to meet the mole people with U.S. funds in California. This happened. This was a
Wow.
president. This is nuts. So it's just this isn't the first
Ooh, we got a
time
caller in the chat.
we have somebody who wants to call in. Is that what we're saying?
Yep, we got right. We got Pangea. Super cool.
All right. We see he's over there, so we'll go ahead and hop over there.
What's going on, man?
Pangea, welcome to the show. You're on the air. How are you? Are you there?
Howdy, how you doing?
All right, and you?
Pretty good. Am I live on air?
You are. Welcome.
So they're just talking about Tartaria. You guys still talking about that?
Yeah, actually, we just were briefly going over the gist of Tartaria.
Amazing. Yeah, I think we reset many, many times, right?
Probably, yeah. It's definitely a
I would say
lot of
that's
evidence for
possible.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cyclical time.
definitely possible.
So there's actually a man named Thor Heyerdahl. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
No.
So Thor Heyerdahl was I think, Norwegian explorer who recruited a whole crew of people. I think 5 people the first time, and they had 2 expeditions. One was called Kon-Tiki, and the other one was called the Raw Expedition.
That's wild. Kontiki.
Yes, and in Kon-Tiki, they took balsa wood logs, bound them together with the theory that the people who lived in the Pacific Islands, like Pacific Ocean Islanders, people who are in New Zealand, like the Maori people, or people even in places like the Philippines, that they actually originally hailed from Peru. So then, with these balsa logs and about 5 people on this raft, and enough water for 30 days and a ton of MREs and different supplies, they set off, just letting the ocean current take them. And eventually, their theory proved correct, and they ended up in the Pacific Islands.
That's wild. And when did this take place?
So, this was probably, I think, in the 30s or 40s that he did his experiment.
Hmm.
But the idea essentially just like comes from archaeological evidence. So then the Raw expedition was where he essentially did it from Egypt, like the coast, or
All
not
the
Egypt, but it would have been like the African coast. And then they had to get the reeds, so they built a reed ship rather than balsa wood. and then with this reed ship constructed in Egypt, they're able to transport it to the west coast of Africa, and then let the current take them to the east coast of the United States.
Isn't
And I
that
think they
that's
might have wound
wild?
up further down.
That is nuts. That's actually pretty incredible.
I dropped a link
In the chat.
Britannica link. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and the reason I bring this up is because it kind of like feeds into the cyclical idea that we've had many resets, and what we see as progress is a total lie.
Yeah, it's all just we're just using technology that we've forgot about.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, and the powers that be gain power from saying, "Oh, it's year 2023," when we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years and been intelligent for hundreds of thousands of years. It's to keep us in our place, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah, have the control over us, keep us in our amnesia state.
You ever watched Ancient Apocalypse?
No.
So it's a show on Netflix. And the guy, it basically his theory is that there's people way before us, like way before us, and we basically just keep repeating it over and over, where we reach a certain point, and then
it resets.
it resets.
And that kind of feeds into Tartaria as well, where it's like even the doors with all these mud flood structures are built for people who are 10, 12 feet tall. There might have been a time where we were more nourished and have more oxygen in the atmosphere and we're able to actually grow to bigger heights, but then that's a threat, right? Like if you or I or any of us were to come across someone who's 8, 10 feet tall, they'd be threatening to us. So I think that over time we've kind of called those people out, made people smaller and easier adversaries.
It kind of ties in with like the Nephilim and stuff like that. You know, the before the floods, you know, in the Noah times.
Absolutely, I think that might actually be. And there's another crazy theory that essentially people are a combination of pigs and chimpanzees that were bred together to make like current day humans.
Oh, that's nuts. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. Like if you look at us, we got like the nice blue eyes of the pig, and then we got the structure of the chimp, we got the skin of the pig.
Wild times. And you can kind of go down a rabbit hole with that, with people like Alex Jones saying that there are these hybrid experiments going on in China and stuff like that, with similar species and us.
Well, we're like a worker race essentially, right? We're like, but we don't have to be, and that's kind of my goal here on YouTube with remoralization is essentially to remoralize people and say, you know, we might be the slave class against our will, but we can become something else, and we can like take this world back. But it starts with not being defeatist, instead looking at things like what Thor Heyerdahl did and saying, you know, if they could bound together balsa wood logs and sail across the Pacific Ocean, or bound together reeds and sail across the Atlantic Ocean, and this was only like 60, 70 years ago they did this, we can watch documentary footage of it or read books about it. You know, there's no reason we can't do that, and we can't take back the world and become the sea people.
Right? And kind of flip the script on the ruling class there. That's pretty wild. That's some good stuff.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what else are we doing with our days and our time? And I think we could recruit all the homeless if we like gave them some incentive, some kind of chemical incentive to do this.
Caffeine pills and hammers.
That's all we need to do. That would fix a lot, you know, give all the homeless caffeine pills and hammers.
Yeah, just get to work. Man, I really appreciate it. Thank you for calling in and letting us know about Thor Heyerdahl.
Last question before I go.
Of course.
Do you all think are hammers allowed in check-on baggage?
I have no idea. Maybe. Yeah, probably.
It's a tool.
I think you could put a firearm in a check-on baggage with proper paperwork.
Well, praise Raw. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one. Thank you for showing up. And we can hop over to the other chat room. All right. Well, that was an awesome caller. We really appreciate people calling in. A lot of this stuff is based on the users, the viewers that are out there. You guys engaging with us, so we appreciate that. That's awesome. Do you have any more on your end for topics?
No, that's about it.
Yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole with making connections.
I think it was covered a lot of topics. I think we could definitely there's an unlimited amount of conspiracies that we could cover, obviously, but we have a short amount of time. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up for the night with our show. This is episode 3. We talked about some conspiracies. Next Sunday will be the last one for the season until after the holidays. Episode 4 will be looking in the here I got a picture here, the conspiracy iceberg, and we'll just be kind of going down to the bottom levels of the iceberg, kind of covering all the deep nitty gritty topics there, and seeing what we can unwrap for you folks out there. So thank you for everybody that's been watching tonight, and I just want to say all these interesting topics, but essentially, God bless you all. Christ is King, and thank you all for showing up. Good night. God bless.